Welcome back to Doing Bart Things. I'm Bart, and today I'm going to take a detour from some of the things I've been talking about previously with computer hardware to, hey, let's talk actually a little bit about gaming. So, this is something I have been looking at as potentially being interested in, which is, Diablo 4. It's kind of been the talk around the internet, but I've been a long time Diablo, honestly, Blizzard fan, and Blizzard in general has started to fall out of favor with me and some other gamers for some of the shenanigans they have been pulling. Most recently, I would say Diablo Immortal was just a complete farce. And the way that they announced it at BlizzCon was just unexcusable. But what I figured I would do is, real quick in this video, I'm going to sort of go over my history of gaming a little bit, just to give you an idea where I'm coming from. And then talk a little bit about Diablo in general, and then go into reasons why Diablo 4 looks, I think it looks like potentially a good game, and what are some things maybe we need to reserve judgment for and hold out for. I do not plan to pre-purchase. That my opinion may change, but at the current moment, it's a lot of money for a video game, to the point where one has to consider it's actually kind of an investment. And there's a lot of cheaper games out there, and a big old Steam library I've got of things to play that would not cost me $70 or whatever it is. So, to get started, quick history. I'm a gamer. Anybody who builds gaming machines and talks about video cards and stuff is, that ideally they're coming from a background where they actually played games at some point. I have a ton of favorite games. Probably one of my very favorite games is Quake 2. That's kind of what really got me sucked in fully. I played games when I was a kid on like the Commodore 64. There's an old game, funny enough, that I load off a tape drive that took like 15 minutes to load, and if I didn't hit yes at 8 minutes in, there was an option to hit yes. It would like crash the whole thing, and you couldn't save your games. It was Telengard on tape drive. On tape drive. Wow, I'm old. Um, so yeah, I've been doing it a while. But Quake 2 is really one of my very favorite games. And then later came some of the Blizzard games. Diablo 2 was a massive favorite for me. Warcraft 3, my gosh, I put in a lot of time with friends on Warcraft 3. Warcraft 3 is where I got my introduction into MMOs, because that's what sucked me into World of Warcraft. And I played a lot of that as I was kind of going through those late teen, early 20 years, which I think is a story for a lot of people, honestly. I do really like RPGs now. The Diablo series has just been among my favorite for really a number of reasons. The simplicity, the ability to jump in and out of the game, you know, hop in, do a run of something, and then hop out has been something that, as I've gotten older, I've really enjoyed. The original Diablo 3 burned me a bit because of the Real Money Auction House. And for those that don't know, that was basically where a player could take an item in-game, drop it on a digital auction house, and put a real money price on it, and have people come and buy the object or item. And I didn't like that at all. That was kind of like my one of my first introductions into just how kind of bad pay to win is for gaming. It's sort of like for lack of a better way to put it, it's if it was football and you could pay to win, essentially you can pay money to go put on an exosuit that would make you run faster than anybody. You know, it's sort of like, but you still have to play the game. But you know, you can make that argument, but it's like you're playing at a different advantage than others around you, and it's very predatory. There were loot boxes in other video games, like I think Overwatch had loot boxes for a while, and more the prevalence of the monetization of video games that is just, it's video games as a service. Anytime you hear anything as a service, that means they want to charge you outside of the realms of just buying something and using it. And it's all just a bunch of marketing baloney for we want to make more money from you. And it gets very frustrating to me as someone who's an old school gamer, who is very much used to buying the game and then playing the game. And when you bought the game, it was in a pretty completed state. You didn't go download a ton of patches in the first week trying to fix bugs and stuff they should have fixed. You know, that makes me very skeptical of things like open beta and betas in general, where it's like, no, this is, we're going to advertise this to everybody, and they're also going to be our QA testers a little bit. It's a little, I don't know. I think open beta can be helpful from the standpoint of, you know, it advertises the game a little bit, but it's, I don't know, you kind of enter a gray area. Anyway, so just to summarize, I know I'm like pontificating. Diablo, love the series. Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls was fantastic. I put in a ton of time on that game. That was the perfect hop in, make a couple of runs of something, and then hop out, take care of the kids, you know, do the things that you need to do. That game really entertained me for a very long time. And so now it's kind of winding down, but it served its purpose. Really good game. I felt like I got good value out of that, and I feel like I was way less, because I immediately gave up on Diablo 3 when it first came out with the Real Money Auction House. I wasn't as turned off to Reaper of Souls as some were. Anyway, so that's that. Let's move on let's actually discuss Diablo 4 itself. So, Diablo 4, looks good. So I played the open beta. This is what got me thinking about making a video, and maybe even making a whole new line of videos on my channel where I'm just going to play some games, make some videos that way. What do I like about the game? Number one, so far what I've seen is the devs are very on point with feedback. They are taking feedback that they are getting and they are responding to it, and this is a line of open communication I have not seen from Blizzard in years, where they are directly answering player feedback. So that's very positive. Very, it inspires some confidence. The other thing is they have said absolutely not pay to win. So, you guys, if you go here to Blizzard's site, you can read down the changes. I feel kind of like, at least today, like I'm not going to go down through this. I'm not the super duper expert on what they got going on here, because my whole thing has been I don't want to pre-purchase the game, but I'll get into that in a minute. But the devs seem to be very on point and very communicative with the community, and that's massively refreshing. I don't know if there's been another project that they've been more attempted to be more transparent about, which I think they needed to be with this after Diablo Immortal. Diablo Immortal, for those that don't know, was the mobile Diablo game, and it was a horrible cash grab. They should be, Blizzard Entertainment as a company should be massively happy that anybody is considering any of their damn video games after that. Like, I have a very strong opinion about what happened on stage at that BlizzCon, about the subsequent game that they launched on mobile. Like it's kind of one of those things where they got greedier, they got a little more greedier, they got a little bit more greedier, and then the ultimate, like, I mean, they were literally greed on the greed level in Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls, like, with that release, and it was just horrible, that a company, that they lost a lot of mindshare. They should have lost all their mindshare. The only reason why a lot of us are back for a Diablo 4 game is because of this transparency from the dev team in developing this game. And that's been enough to make us take pause, at least me, and say, okay, maybe I'll consider this. So that's really positive. And that's the main thing. I think that if somehow some developer ever to get to this incredibly low rent production that I make, just talking about web pages, and listen to this, like, my advisement is, keep doing what you're doing, and try to do it more, be sensible, but yeah, keep the communication open as much as possible. Let's see. The other thing is, I logged in and played the beta itself, and it looks like they've got a pretty enjoyable actual game. Mechanically, it's a Diablo game. It plays like a Diablo game, and it looks great. The artwork is phenomenal. Some of the effects are really great. I think they are starting to really nail it on that. More so than Diablo 3, even. Diablo 3 had a little bit of a cartoony anime sort of look to it, the game. I'm happy to announce, for those that were not a fan of that, this does not. This very much has a darker motif, and it looks really good. So I would say, kudos on that endpoint. If they told me that they were going to just release this game, you paid one time, and the next time you paid is when they release new content, like an expansion, I probably would pre-purchase it, like, at that point. But there's some things here that we need to talk about, or reasons why I have chosen, and maybe you have chosen not to pre-purchase this game, at least at this time. Number one, I am not sure about the Battle Pass. I'm not sure about this real money or microtransaction store that they got going, even though I've been told no pay to win, so no power, right? But that means that they're going to sell quote-unquote cosmetics. And one motivation that they are using is, when people play video games like this, anybody watching this probably knows, you want your character to look cool, right? Like, you go and you slay the big dragon, you get the big shiny, right? That's how these games work. And now, with the way that they're doing cosmetics, technically speaking, you can go to the store, and instead of going and slaying the big dragon, you can pay money, and you'll get the thing that makes you look big and shiny, even if you're very weak. So, I don't like that. It's not power, and I think we've kind of crossed a bridge where this is just what the deal is, right? The big problem with this is experts, or people who really play this game and are very good at it, may be running around in something that looks like a cobbled together, trash bag of an outfit, and they're the ones actually know what they're doing, and then some noob goes on the microtransaction store, buys something, and they walk around looking like somebody create something incredible. I just don't know. I think there's a lot there that's like, I think microtransactions are crap, period. So this is something I'm a little bit hesitant about. The Battle Pass can be earned in-game, and to get through the season, it's going to require something like 75 hours of gameplay. So that's another thing that I'm a bit concerned with. 75 hours, so the seasons will last 3 months, they'll last like a quarter, okay? and each one of the seasons will have apparently some really wild themes, is what they're talking about. Like it's going to really change the way you play the game and do things. Okay, fair enough. But in order to complete 75 hours, which is going to be spent hugely grinding something, that's how these games work. Is you go and um, you basically play the game. You go and you do certain objectives and things. Over the key thing there is you do them over and over again, right? To get certain things accomplished. You level up from 0 to whatever, probably. That's kind of how the Diablo 3 seasons worked, and that's how like Path of Exile seasons work. Is you make a seasonal character, you have to level that character up through the game, and then you take on a series of whatever things that they introduce for that season. So, in this instance, if they're saying that they believe the average player is going to take about 75 hours to get through it, my concern is in 3 months, 75 hours, that is, kind of like an hour a day. Doesn't sound like much. A little bit less than an hour a day if you were to take the entire time. But you'd have to play every single day. Man, I'm telling you, as a casual, as somebody who has kids and everything, I don't know if I'm going to be able to put that much time in it, even if I wanted to. And what I think game developers and people in general fail to realize is a lot of that time is going to have to be spent figuring out how these things work, looking at builds and stuff. Like there's no research time or play around time built into this. I think they're like, oh, well, of course you're going to know what to do. You're going to log in, do exactly X, Y, Z, and then log out. And it's like, well, no, because if I'm a casual, I don't just have time to go and research that and know exactly what I'm doing. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time fumbling around my inventory, doing things, and I really don't think, I suspect that's going to balloon that 75 hours to way higher, right? So I'm worried that this is not as casual an experience as they're trying to portray it to be. And that concerns me because I'm not going to buy a game that's completely tuned to not allowing someone to do that. I'm going to log in, I'm going to play 30 minutes to an hour and log out, because I need that. Personally, I need that. I need to be able to log out. I need to be able to take care of my kids, my family, go spend some time with the wife. That's required. That's a required thing, not only of me, but for me. And so I'm not going to, like 1 hour a day is 7 hours a week. So, I'm also not going to take and blow up every single Saturday or Sunday to log in for 5 or 6 or 7 hours, whatever it is, to try and make that up either. There will be a few of those, I suspect, when I actually manage to get the house to myself. But that's not how that's going to work. So I'm a little bit concerned about this quote of 75 hours to get through and get your season done. I'm still a bit fuzzy on how the battle passes and stuff work. Maybe I'll make a video on that. We'll learn together about what the heck they're talking about with this game, and we can make some more decisions on if this is something we want to purchase and get into, really. The other thing is, all of this talk of microtransaction and stuff, this is a $70 game. Let me go back to pre-purchase. So Battle.net, right? Windows. Like different editions. Okay, so let's go with the standard edition. It's the cheapest one, right? Oh God, you're gonna make me log in? Why? Why can I not? Well, all right, never mind then. But yeah, the versions are like 70, 80, and $100 or something like that, something crazy like that, just to buy the game. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to buy into a game that's going to be offered as a service, and I will be incentivized. I even got a pop-up when I was playing the game of, hey, by the way, here's where you go buy your out-of-game purchases, which made me a little sick to my stomach uh, that was even a pop up that, hey, let's run through this tutorial to tell you where to go to the store to pick up the shit that you bought with your real money. Get out of here with that. I hate it so much, and for that reason, that's why Blizzard. If you ever watch this, like that's why I didn't pre-purchase your damn game, is because I knew that was a possibility that microtransactions may be predatory, and I was going to have no personal part in it if that was the case. If we've seen anything from Diablo Immortal, you're capable of that sort of thing. So, on the flip side, if you don't want to pay the money for this stuff, 75 hours you can grind it out. I don't know. It's going to be hard to tell. I'm not so sure that this is a game again meant for someone who's a casual, which sucks because Diablo 3 was a great game for casuals. And I didn't even complete all the season journeys in Diablo 3, and I didn't feel the need to. That's what the point was. So, anyway, I think that's about all the pontification I've got on that. If you'd like and subscribe. There's going to be more to come. I may do some digging and kind of just share my findings about Diablo 4 to maybe help others who are kind of in my similar situation of being old and wanting to maybe pick up a new video game to look at and maybe kind of help make your own decision about it. At the moment, I am cautiously optimistic. The dev feedback has been good. They've definitely said no pay to win, so that's good. And the game looks good. It really does. The mechanics seem to be pretty fun. So, I like it, but I just cannot pull the trigger on a $70, $80, or $100 video game when I am concerned about how the actual seasons and battle pass and all that stuff is going to work out. I don't mind getting a late start. I care zero about that. I don't think that that's enough of a incentive getting into the game early to not take a look and understand what I'm getting myself into. So anyway, that's that. Guys, listen, thank you for listening. I mean, if you've listened to me all the way through here, give yourself a pat on the back. That was amazing. Hopefully leave a like. Try not to hate on this old man for his, I say old, I'm like 46, but still, I've got gray hair, so there. Thank you for not hating too bad on this old man's production, and I appreciate your support. Thank you.